Since independence in 1964, Zambia has depended on hydropower for electricity generation. This high dependence on hydro for electricity has over the years continued and has posed a risk to Zambia's electricity supply in view of the increasing adverse climate change, among other factors such as low water levels in the natural water bodies. The low water levels in natural water bodies such as the Kariba, caused by the El Nino effects, have resulted in low electricity generation, which has led to electricity rationing through load shedding. Thus, the demand for electricity in Zambia has increased and is mainly attributed to the increase in economic activities the country is experiencing. The increase in economic activities is in line with Zambia's desire of becoming a middle-income country by 2030. The country has also been experiencing a reduction in electricity supply as a result of the routine maintenance of the power plant at Maamba Collieries Limited. The reduction in electricity generation dates to as far back as 2015 and is attributed to reduced water levels in the dam caused by poor rainfall. The low water levels have forced ZESCO, the power utility company, to use only 2 power generating units out of the 6 units. With the current status, the plant's power generation is standing at 250 megawatts from the capacity of 1,080 megawatts.
Currently, we do not have enough water in our reservoir, and as of that, we are being forced to only use 2 generating units. So at the moment, our average generation is now standing at 250 megawatts, meaning that we are only using 2 units out of the 6. The other 4 units, they are available, but they are just on standstill, and we can't wait for the rains. We think that once it starts raining, hopefully the water from upstream will be in by next month, which is February, and from there definitely we'll start ramping up our generation.
As one of the solutions to diversify the country's energy mix and add a clean energy alternative, ZESCO partnered with Maamba Collieries under a power purchase agreement. Under this purchase agreement, power generated by the Maamba thermal power plant will be sold to ZESCO for a period of 20 years. The Maamba Collieries thermal power plant generates 300 megawatts of electricity and feeds 150 megawatts into the national grid. Though the plant is able to feed the national grid with 150 megawatts, the ongoing routine maintenance works have resulted in the closure of the plant and also a reduction of 150 megawatts from the national grid. To mitigate this drawback, ZESCO, the national power utility company, enforced a 12-hour load shedding schedule for the majority of the country's households, commercial and industrial consumers. The current load shedding has not spared any household, including small-scale businesses.
Ekitati ya welding ili mushe kulingana na services ya ZESCO whenever chita supply light, but at times zapezeka tu customer agent abwera leo naye mumwana tantawe yene umuntu tumusebenze musile kupima imagula mametiro yetu mungambe kusebeza light yaenda, so paja futhi kuti mukambina customer mpela light yaenda manje one zechitabanya kai chile agent.
Load shedding, quite alright, yes, it's there. Illegal load shedding, and it affect monga is as in my orders. Kuchuka maybe not maybe, but it's obviously kuchuka kuma 80, fika kuma 14. Pisa kanje no time yako ati ufungu sebenza, then malaiti kulibe, and actually there's no one to blame. Tinakambeche water levels in the Kariba, they are low.
In a bid to find solutions to the energy crisis, President Hichilema on 7th of January 2023 held a meeting with some members of the recently constituted Energy Task Force at State House.
We must work, yes, as a team, but work very, very rapidly. Hopefully today's meeting will focus on the immediate measures that we need to take, and obviously the short-term and long-term measures. But in that order, the immediate measures, in terms of priority, so that we can alleviate the stress that our people are facing, and we appreciate and understand the pain that our people are going through. You get used to having power in your house, electricity, you take it that it will always be there. So when it's not there, you obviously feel strained. Small businesses, of course households, small businesses, barber shops, welders. I was watching on television when I was away for a couple of days, how a welder somewhere, I think it's on the Copper Belt, is having to delay delivery of their orders to their customer because of the electricity shortage. So that's a painful situation, and we need to work as a government elected to solve problems, elected not to shy away from our responsibility to basically be able to remedy the situation.
During the meeting, President Hichilema directed officers in charge of communicating to the public to be organized and consistent in their responsibilities. He emphasized the need for the public to be frequently updated on the prevailing energy crisis through the media.
Just make sure we respect the media. Media, you really welcome, and we appreciate the work you've been doing, because that's the way we should evolve as a society, to base what we do on the facts, what we report on the facts. I think that's what we agreed when we met the media right in this room. But we appreciate the work you've been doing so far, and also hopefully we can provide you with regular content going forward, because it's also true, if we're not giving the media regular content, they will gather content themselves, isn't it? They will say things that they feel ought to be said. So I think part of the work we should be doing is to agree the provision of regular content to the media. I think to be fair to them, to respect the media, we must do that on an ongoing basis. If not daily, every other day. And if the media have questions, you should be free to ask. This is a democratic country. There's really nothing to be kept confidential, except to be able to allow the people who are doing work to do the work that is needed.
The following day saw President Hichilema undertake a one-day working visit to Maamba collieries and Kariba North Bank power stations in Southern Province for an on-the-site inspection. In Maamba district, the president was to hold a meeting with senior management at Maamba Collieries Limited. Thus, the chopper carrying President Hichilema landed at Maamba Golf Club. Upon arrival, President Hichilema went into a briefing. After the briefing, the presidential motorcade immediately left for Maamba Collieries Limited. Once at Maamba Collieries, President Hakainde Hichilema, in a meeting, advised management to adjust their maintenance schedule in a way that would take into account challenges of low water levels in the Kariba Dam. The president also reminded management about the lessons learned from the current power crisis and called for better forecasting in future to avoid a routine maintenance that could further increase load shedding.
We're here to see how we can provide support to Maamba to make sure that the maintenance works going on one of the machines, the 150 megawatts machine, is undertaken smoothly. We can have that done and concluded ahead of schedule. An hour matters in this business. We're ahead of schedule by 1 hour. That 1 hour means 150 megawatts, plus the other 150, maybe minus some losses at the plant, normal, routine. It means we'll provide power to that industry. We'll provide power to the barber shop, to the welder, who depends on selling 2, 3, 4 windows a week only in order to look after their family. That's how important this power is. To that hospital, public or private, doesn't matter, because that's a facility available to the people of Zambia in terms of health service delivery. That is much needed for the reasons that we all know. We don't have to repeat what we know. But going forward, to make sure that the maintenance timings are scheduled in a way that take account of the challenges of our hydrology. When we have the lowest levels on this lake in our river systems, we shouldn't really be doing the maintenance. I think that's the lesson we learn. But we know the integrity of assets is very important to continue generating power. We understand that. It's not in contestation. It's not in question. But it's when we do the maintenance, save the breakdowns that we cannot foresee. But anything that is planned, we will plan it better going forward. We will work as a team to make sure that we manage such maintenance requirements.
Maamba Collieries Limited senior management, on the other hand, explained to President Hakainde Hichilema that the power plant had to undergo a shutdown to conduct routine maintenance as the facility had exceeded the stipulated maximum running hours. Management, however, assured the president that the annual routine maintenance works had reached an advanced stage and that power generation would soon commence.
Our steam turbine drives our electrical generator that is connected to the which produces power, the power that we inject to the national grid. We will remain committed to sustain supply of baseload power to the national grid, and we vow to contribute highly to the national economy.
After the meeting, the president went on to plant a tree to mark his visit at Maamba Collieries thermal power generation plant. Before proceeding to the Kariba North Bank in Siavonga, the president made a stopover at Maamba Market to address residents. President Hichilema then proceeded to Siavonga district. The chopper carrying the head of state touched down at Siavonga Secondary School grounds, where he took time to greet government and party officials that came to welcome him. The head of state then went for a briefing at Kafiwe North Bank Power Station. The Zambezi River Authority management briefed the head of state on the structural integrity of the dam.
To open and close the gates, they had to put some channels where closing gates, they have to move down. Now the concrete that is holding those channels was such that when there was too much water, it started swelling, what they call alkaline aggregation. So when it was swelling, these channels started wobbling. And we were now finding issues in terms of when there was need, we were finding issues to open and close those gates. So what was now needed to do was to take each and every one of their 6 gates, to open up each and every one of those gates and redo everything. Like you got a door frame, and then if the door frame is wobbling, you remove it and then put some more concrete that side, more concrete that side. But to do that, it has to be done in the dry. You cannot work on that when on the other side is water. So first and foremost, you have to have less water that side. That's number one. But we have to put in what we call the buffer dam, so that at least even with the water, we can work in the dry. This is what we did.
Here, the president expressed displeasure over the manner in which the Kariba Dam was being managed, as it was discovered that systems and processes had been neglected, leading to a lack of proper monitoring and sharing of critical information.
We're not managing the asset properly. Let's not beat about the bush. We're not managing this asset properly. We, as countries, as people, entrusted the Zambezi River Authority to manage this asset on our behalf. By your own admission, sir, I'm really being polite. By your own admission, I think their governance arrangements are not serving us well. There's no question about it. Okay, first, the repair works, we won't get into details, are essential. What you have described is a serious risk. So I don't want to belabor the point, dear colleagues. The message is that we need to conclude the repair works. The pictorial view you showed there is not something we can sit on for any time longer than today.
He then tasked the Zambezi River Authority to arrange for a stakeholders meeting to resolve some pertinent issues surrounding management of the dam.
So we expect Zambezi River Authority to table on our leaderships the correct position, where we are with the remedial works, when we are going to complete, and the integrity of the work being done. I repeat, presidents don't have to travel here in order to get these briefings. This should be mundane. This should be basic. This is bread and butter for you at Zambezi River Authority.
After the briefing, the president was later taken on a conducted tour of the Kariba North Bank power generating plant site. President Hichilema concluded his one-day working visit to Maamba and Kariba Dam with an emphasis on the importance of taking responsibility of challenges and making decisions based on long-term foundations rather than short-term, politically convenient solutions. As the president returned to Lusaka, it was clear that his government's decision would be based on building sound foundations that will last for generations to come. It was also clear that the president wanted to ensure that the energy crisis is dealt with once and for all.